Okay, you too. Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about being a chosen one, being a a child of God, or what other people would say, a being of the light. So, a chosen one cannot be wicked. Like you cannot do wicked things and keep doing them, or nor do you actually have an urge to do anything wicked. So let me explain. So ever since you're young, this whole world's always kind of been praising sin in a way. Like ever since you were young, it's always been like, oh, it's how much, like say if you're a guy, and ever since say like in high school or whatever, it's been like, oh, who has the most clout, status, who gets the most girls, who's the most popular, who has the most money or whatever. And like if girls, the same thing, who's the most popular, who's this, who's that. And then as a chosen one, you've always stuck out. You've always had different feelings in the world. You've always been like, it's always been in you. Like you've always just been different. You just stand out. You've been different. And like this world preaches all this stuff about the sin, like being sexually immoral. You think it's cool. You get a lot of like, it's like this world praises like guys that get a lot of women. It's like, oh yeah, you should get as much women as you want. Just be sexually immoral as you want. Just hook up with all these women. And it's the same with women. Oh, you could hook up with all these men. You could do this. You could be popular or whatever. And like all this stuff has been praised. And you may have, like, as a chosen one, you may have forced yourself to be like that. Like because that's all you saw in the world. Before you knew who you were, you might have forced yourself to do that. Even though in you never really wanted to be like that. You always had high morals, high standards, and have been like kind-hearted. You didn't want to do people dirty. But you've seen your life. You've seen a bunch of wickedness where people are, like, sexually immoral is just one example. But you've seen a bunch of wickedness where people are always just trying to hook up with other people, just get as much as they can, And like you may have tried to act like that, but you can't do it. If you fell into that, something's gonna stop you like this. Like you may have tried to do it and then you just went the other way. You're like, no, I can't even be like that. It's not right. Like, cause it's not right. And like you may have tried to focus on, like, because people, like, the world has like an obsession with status. Like they love status, and you may have fell into this too. We're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like that same way. I'm just gonna get a lot of money, just have a lot of status, be high status, as they say, And like just focusing on materials, like you're supposed to focus on God, like the bigger picture. And as a chosen one, you've always kind of seen the bigger picture. You never took these things like really seriously, but people are like obsessed with them in the world. Like, oh yeah, it's good. Like, don't get me wrong, nothing's wrong with money in my opinion, but the love of money is bad. Like money is a good thing. Money is a good thing because you get your materials, you get your food, you get your life. It's not a bad thing, and God desires you to have money. He desires you to be financially abundant. But where it's wrong is like people are like obsessed with it. It's like the only thing they see about themselves. They're obsessed with this material world too much. It's like, oh yeah, I got all this money, I got all these materials, I got all this status or whatever. They only care about materials, and like these things never matter. And like when you care about these materials so much, this is why I say it's wicked, because then people will kind of jump out of what's good to get that. Like they might start stealing, they might start scamming people, they might start lying to people, or like stepping on other people to get these things. And like and a lot of people will do this stuff and like they don't care. Like they don't really care. And I've always seen it as weird. It's like, do you not see that like it's wrong to do? And as a chosen one, you've seen these, and like you've seen other people do it, and you may have tried to be this way. Like, you know what, I'm gonna be the same way. Like I'm just gonna focus on money, do this, do that. And then it's always been like you found out it was wrong really fast. You're like, no, this is wrong. And like you feel convicted. You're like, what am I doing? Like I'm jumping out of my whole personality here. I'm jumping out of my whole thing. As a chosen one, being of God, you've been of God since you were born. This is why I say he sets you apart from the world. It's like you kind of see the world, but you don't truly like fit in. It's not really for you. It's not really for you. So A lot of times in your life, you might have tried to steer the wrong way, but God brought you back. You might have went that way, be like, I'm gonna do this. God brought you back to like what's right, what's correct. Then you do that, and you come back to that. For a chosen one, this happens all the time. Like anytime you jump out of God's will for your life, or you jump out of like goodness, He's gonna show you that's wrong, bring you right back. You go that way, you gotta right back to God. It's because these things are wrong. It's not for you. That's kind of why a chosen one is like held to this higher standard in a way. It's not by people, it's by spirit, it's by God. And since you're held to this higher standard, like being wicked is not for you. Being sinful is not for you. And don't get me wrong, we're all sinful. Everyone's sinful. But some people love their sin. They don't care. They don't care that they sin. They love doing it, and they jump into it like with ease. As a chosen one, you go to sin, and like you've sinned before, just like everybody, you've sinned before. But you don't really have you don't have this love for sin. Like you don't like to do sin. It's not. You know it's wrong. You know it's not. It's not something that's good. You can't easily jump. It's not easy for you to do like wicked things. It's almost. I would say almost impossible, because every time you try to be wicked, you try to be evil, you try to put people down, you try to be sexually immoral, you try to be greedy, you try to be anything that's sin. Everything that's sin, you kind of like, you can't do it as a chosen one. You can't even do it. You jump into these things, and immediately you'll feel this conviction, like you question yourself and be like, everyone does these things, but like I can't. It's because what people are doing, it's wrong. What people are like preaching is wrong. And then when you do it, you're like, man, I know this is wrong, but like everyone seems to be doing it with ease. It's like, why do I feel so different? It's because you are different. You're set apart. It's not for you. You know these things are wrong. So that's why you seem to get kind of. This is why I say a chosen one can't do what everybody else is doing. You can't be that way. It's not for you. You're held to like this different standard. You've been held to this different standard your whole life. You can't do these things. And like, because a lot of this world is wicked. A lot of this world is just completely wicked. People don't care about being sexual and immoral. People even praise, which is wrong, like cheating on their spouses. People praise cheating. People praise being greedy. There's people who don't even care that they scam people. They do all these things. They do all these wicked things. And like you see it, and you're like, it's like people really don't like forgive them, of course, like love them, but it's like people don't really like care that they're doing like wrong things. And as a chosen one, if you've ever been tempted to do wrong, like things that are wrong like that, it's like, nah, God is like, nah, you're not going that way. Like it's gonna end really quickly. You can't go through there. That's why I say a chosen one, you can't be wicked. Not even if you tried, you can't be wicked. It's not who you are. It's being wicked for you is going against everything it's going against yourself, everything that you are. You know it's wrong. And every time you try to do it, you go against yourself, and it hurts you a lot. Then you come right back to God, and you come right back to what's right. Because you feel these convictions, you feel all these convictions, and like when you were younger, you may have like felt these convictions, and like you're just like, how come when I do it, it's so wrong, but like other people do it and it's not wrong? You've had these experiences many times. It's like you've tried to do things that the world is doing, and like for some reason you look like the bad one when you do it, but everyone else could do it without getting like caught or whatever. And then it was just always weird to you. It's like, why can't I do what people are doing? But not only do you not even want to do what people are doing, but you might have fell into it just because of pressure. You're like, oh, man, I don't know what to do. Like I don't fit in. I need to do something. But before you awoke, you probably thought it was a bad thing. But now it's a good thing. It's like you don't fit in for a reason. You're not supposed to be like that, because a lot of things this world does is wrong. It's truly wrong. And this is why you've had these circumstances in your life when you do these things that other people are doing. They seem to prosper in it, and like it works. But whenever you do it, you don't. It's like you look like a bad person when you do it, and it's just like, hold up, like this doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it shows someone you can't be wicked. You You can't be evil. You can't. It's not in you. It's not even in you to like do people dirty, be greedy, be like prideful, be sexually immoral. It's not in you to really do it. You've never really wanted to do it. That's why you may have tried to fit in this world and do the things they are doing, and you've always fell short. You've always been like, man, this is wrong. Like, how do people like this? Like, this is dead. Like, it's not even fulfilling. I just feel guilty. I don't even feel right. And like, you see a lot of people that go through it, and they don't feel the same as you do. They don't even see that it's like wrong. And you kind of just sit there. It's like, how do you guys not see these? Like, how do you guys not see these? It's because it's not for them to see. If you're chosen, you're picked apart. You're chosen by God. He's like, no, you're gonna do something else. This is not for you. It's not for you to be like this. This is not you. But yeah, like you cannot do wicked things. You truly can't do wicked things. And every time you have tried, because everyone's fallen short, just like the Bible says, everyone has fallen short of the glory of God. It doesn't matter if you're chosen or if you're not chosen, or if you're of the world and you're not of the world. Everyone's fell short of the glory of God. So you've sinned. Everyone's sinned, right? But every time you do, there was I would say a lot more conviction than other people. A lot more conviction than a lot of people. And you may have used pride to kind of be like, man, it's like, you know what? I'm like, I don't care that I feel guilty. Like, I'm not gonna feel guilty about it. But you can't deny the fact under the pride, because pride's also a sin. You're not supposed to feel prideful. Under the pride, you know that these things are wrong. You know that people aren't doing the right things. You know that these things are so highly praised in the world are completely wrong. And this is why you've also had conflicts with people. And like, because when you come into like a room, when you come into a place, people can see that your whole spirit is completely different. Your whole spirit's completely different. And you go and then you come around people. This is why you kind of have this conviction effect on people. Like, when you look at people in the eyes, like, you can see in their eyes that there's like this like, they kind of feel, whenever like you look at someone in the eyes, if you're chosen, they kind of feel like spiritually naked in a way. Like, they feel spiritually naked. They're like, okay, I feel exposed. And this is why you find out conflicts with a lot of people, because like their egos come out, and like you see them for who they are, and like the things they are doing is wrong. And then when they see you, they kind of think you're judging them, even though you haven't said a word. They feel like you're judging them, but you haven't said a word. And then you're like, why have people acted so like odd around me? Like, I haven't even said anything. I'm just being kind, because it's not what you're doing. It's your spirit. It's you have a light to you. You have a powerful light to you. So when people see you, you kind of they feel exposed to you. And if they're insecure about it, they're gonna try to protect themselves and like kind of go off on you in a way. But this is why you've probably been around your whole life. And you've seen the world, the things that the world preaches, the thing that the world loves to do, that takes seriously. And you've always been like, these things are just kind of, you've always been to yourself, it's like, I've tried to do this and like, it doesn't work. It's like, I know it's wrong. It feels wrong. It feels like I'm not doing the right thing. It's because that feeling is right. You see what's right and wrong. It's nothing's wrong with you. You're meant to see like that. You've been set apart since birth. You're set apart to see these things. That's why you have this strong, like super strong discernment to you. That's a gift of God. You have this really strong discernment to you, to know what's good and to know what's wrong in a way. And like and then whenever you fall into sinful things or like evil things, you learn it like, it seems like you learn it a lot faster than most people do. People see it as just like the world being the world, like it's normal, it's just how it is. But whenever you do it, you're just like, no, this is wrong. Like, I don't even feel right. I feel like guilty. I feel convicted. I don't feel like this is the right thing at all. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed it. Like the video, and don't forget to comment below. I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys.